If you go up to a NIKKE player and you ask what their favorite story is up until right now, they're caught up in the story, you ask them this question, almost every single time they're going to give you the same exact answer as everyone else. It's Overzone. It's been over 2 years since the release of what many would consider the greatest story in gacha games history, and definitely the greatest in NIKKE. You might be able to say Old Tales is just as good or better, fine. But the majority of the community agrees that Overzone is S tier, without a shadow of doubt. That was the event that got many people into the game or continue playing the game. The game already started off with a depressing tone, had the premise of losing your loved one, your loved companion, Marion, very early on in the story, and then you had to shoot her yourself. So this tone was already set that this game was going to be quite dark and serious. No one saw Overzone coming. It was an entire different layer, a whole different dimension. Yeah, you thought shooting Marion yourself was really depressing. Nothing comes even remotely close, not even slightly close to the horrific things that happened in Overzone. And that was the event when people were like, oh shit, this game is like serious. I know many people that felt the same way, that was a turning point for NIKKE as it was for me. Now, I wasn't a NIKKE content creator at the time of its release, so don't worry, an Overzone video will come out eventually. I'm on it, okay? Overzone featured what many would call the greatest meme of all time in gacha games. Doro, except it wasn't Doro, it was the full version of her, if you can call it that. Dorothy was the main character of Overzone. We witnessed firsthand through her eyes the horrific tragedy of the Seal the Ark operation. I forgot what it was called. Operation Seal the Ark. We saw a broken goddess squad, one without their leader, Lilith, one without their second most powerful or third most powerful, Red Hood. The morale was at its lowest. Scarlet was a drunk. Rapunzel kept praying to everything that was killed. Snow White went through multiple mind switches. It was all fucked. But Dorothy had it somewhat together. She had the burden of being the new leader. Technically, she was the strongest of the four. There was a lot of weight on her shoulders. Okay, without basically summarizing the entire thing, Dorothy was essentially exploited. She makes a dear friend, Pina, who, eventually she has to kill herself because of corruption. Thank you, Red Shoes. Dorothy basically goes through a mind switch and she completely loses her sense of self. Her companions trying to pound it into her that she's still a goddess of victory, that humanity is something that she needs to protect, but she wavers. The Ark just betrayed all of them. Her friend, her dear little Pina, her wings are dead. All because of them. All because they couldn't send support, or they didn't send support, and they used the goddesses as a meat shield to keep themselves safe. This insane act of betrayal was too much for Dorothy to handle. And so time goes on, and throughout the story, Dorothy essentially becomes a villain. Now, we're talking 100 or so years in the future, so many things have happened since, but Dorothy's kinda stayed the same. She went off and she made Eden and Inherit, and she met the New Hope and all that. She essentially started a new arc that is way more technologically advanced, way more peaceful, apparently, and is more suited to her liking because, well, she's at the helm. Despite her efforts, one thing never changes, and that is she can never get what she lost. Pina will never come back, so she's put herself in a weird dilemma. One day she reunites with one of her old friends, someone that was the darkness to her light, Red Hood. Unfortunately, Red Hood dies a couple days later, basically disappears from existence, and Dorothy loses her again. Can't really blame her for being so ornery and not very polite, let's say, towards Rappy. Rappy has fully transformed into Rappy Red Hood, transfused with the Red Hood core. Lilith is gone forever. There's been no signs or sightings of any kind. Dorothy is now truly alone, and her delusions of Pina are the only things keeping her from, ending herself, basically. Now, keep in mind, Overzone ended with Dorothy stumbling upon a sign pointing towards the Ark, and basically she loses her mind because she's like, oh, the irony, oh, the Ark is this way, pointed to by this measly little sign, while we gave our lives, gave up our humanity, so many things lost in order to protect this thing, and here I am staring at it. It's a pretty gruesome realization. Dorothy's story has just begun. Now we fast forward to present day with the summer event. Now let's get into the weeds. When this event was first announced, when we first saw the trailer and that we saw that Dorothy was part of the event, and then we saw that Pina was also part of the event, which, wasn't exactly the case, we all thought, oh no, Are they really going to resolve this amazing villain story in this joking summer event? And, you know, haha, hee hee, let's all have fun. And it's not going to be very good because they just want to throw it away at this point. Is that what's going to happen? I was starting to think, oh boy, this is not what I expected with the end of Dorothy's arc. Now, to be completely honest, Dorothy's villain arc should have ended a while ago. We keep having to deal with her at this point. It's like, holy cow. We've had a whole event dedicated to you. We've had numerous main chapter stories dedicated to you. Red Hood shot you in the torso, blew a hole in you, telling you to wake up from your delusions. I think it's about time you start wrapping things up, right? But we didn't see that. She goes to the outpost and she chills above the command center or whatever, and Anis and Neon have to deal with her and all that. Anyway, so they announced this event, and it seems like it's going to be centered around 3 characters. One of them being the literal main heroine, the second being the oh-so charming Ellig. I mean, holy cow, I can almost make a whole separate video on Ellig herself. She's like fun and mature and reliable, nothing annoying about her, fantastic voice acting, and then of course Dorothy as the third. I really didn't want her very important arc to end in everyone wearing swimsuits and it being very sexual and joking and not very good. I can't think of another word to say. Not very satisfying. I am proud to report that it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I'm not extremely satisfied, but there were a lot of things that they did pretty well. Commander was kind of a bitch. That's probably my least favorite part of the story. I don't understand why they keep making Commander this like beta, you know, I don't want to go into that, you know, like you understand what I'm saying, right? He's just kind of standing around letting everyone do their thing and he's scared of these ghosts, and Dorothy clearly kind of holds him above the others, but he kind of stands there and lets Rappy do everything for him. Nice going, guy. Like, way to be the leader. Your name is literally Commander. But he does do one thing very important. I can't forget this. Yes, he manipulates the situation at the very end into making Dorothy suck up Pine herself. That was a very obvious manipulation tactic. Oh no, you know what? We should all just die here, you know? He sits down, he's all depressed. That was good, I gotta admit. The real star player is Rappy. I mean, without a doubt. Ellig was amazing too, but Rappy really kicked it up here. If you're not a fan of current Rappy, then okay, maybe you didn't like what she did here, but I really like how she took charge. She was not having it. Commander told her to stop. He's like, dude, don't take this any further. Let's just be chill with Dorothy. Do not bring up Peanut. She's like, nope, we're gonna confront her right here. Absolute Chad move. Commander, get the come on. What? I'm not happy about that. Rappy gets into a brawl. Rappy starts punching the crap out of Dorothy. They start punching each other. It was awesome. No weapons, just their fists. Rappy seems to be winning because Rappy should be winning at this point. I'm pretty sure Rappy's supposed to be stronger than Dorothy. And then the fight kind of concludes with Dorothy getting the upper hand. She punches Rappy's jaw and that's kind of the end. Commander comes up from behind. He's probably got a boner. He's like, you know, hold back, please don't. And she's like, whoa, you're strong. Okay, it was a serious scene. Okay, so he did 2 things. He did 2 things that were good. Great job, Commander. You did 2 things. Congratulations, dude. Then Rappy says something that triggers Dorothy. Not in a negative way, it triggers the past of when Dorothy talks to Rapunzel and tells her, hey, we need to stop focusing on the dead and shift that focus to the living. Like the dead aren't gonna do anything for us. They're gonna be rotting in the ground while the living is all around us. The living is living. Rappy says a quote that directly mirrors something that Dorothy herself said back then. And that part especially was kind of the icing on the cake. I thought that was really satisfying. Thank goodness they brought that out. Dorothy finally realizes after all this time, after the 100 years of delusion that she's been living under, she finally realizes it herself. She's been living under a lie that she created. Pina's not coming back. Pina hasn't come back. In these decades, there's been nothing. This hologram you found on the ship isn't even Pina herself, yet you tried to convince yourself that it was. But she knew it wasn't. She admits that. Pina's not coming back. Lilith is not coming back. Red Hood, for sure, ain't coming back. She kind of did in a way, and maybe Dorothy found hope in that. She does not want to be Rappy's friend. It seemed very clear at that moment, but now that she's let her guard down, we don't know what's going to happen from now on. Rappy killed it. I'm sorry. You might not like her right now, but she killed it. She basically single-handedly converted Dorothy. She fixed her. Dorothy's not entirely fixed. I don't think we're totally done, but I think the major hurdle is finished. I think we finally said exactly what Dorothy needed to hear. I say we, but it was Rappy, really. Dumbass Commander. Dorothy can finally move on from herself, not Pina. She can finally put it all behind her. It's been 100 years, lady. Princess, let's wrap it up. You're a NIKKE. You're going to live indefinitely, and you're very powerful at that. Stop living in the delusions. There's people around you that honestly could love you or already do love you. I mean, Commander didn't make it very clear, but I am a fan of the dodo. I'm a big fan of the dodo. I think her smile is wonderful. You know, I think the buff that A1 Pictures gave her is something we should all appreciate. It wasn't needed. I don't even remember what I was saying. What was I saying? Something about loving people? Who even cares? Dorothy, get your shit together. Get your act together. It's time to move on. The story's moving on. We don't care about your arc anymore. It's done. Good job. You're on our side. It might be hard to completely convert, but that's okay. Starting tomorrow, you're on the clock. We got the 4 beasts to convert. We got more people that are coming into the harem, okay? You're just another stop on the way. I think I mentioned this already. I think overall, the summer story was pretty good. If you are an Elec fan, I bet you were having a blast. She had so much screen time. All the other characters got great screen time. So if you're a fan of any of them, nice. And to end it with Dorothy, Rappy, punching each other, and Dorothy finally realizing that she's, a joke, was nice. I liked it. I might have choked up a little bit when they had that flashback to Overzone. I think it's pretty obvious by now that I really wish the commander did a little bit more. He seemed a little bit sidelined this event. Like maybe he was too distracted at all the, asses hanging out. I don't really know what he's doing. Really wish he did more than a hologram just standing there. That's basically what he was. Welcome home, Dorothy, and goodbye, Overzone, the best event ever.